Moral of the story: sharing and generosity bring warmth and fulfillment to our lives, while selfishness can lead to loneliness and regrets. Advice to kids: be generous. Share with others when you can, and you'll create kindness and happiness. Think of others. Consider the needs of those around you and offer help when it's needed. Learn from mistakes. When you make a selfish choice, use it as a chance to grow and become a better person. Value friendships. Building meaningful relationships is more important than possessions or achievements. Moral of the story: sharing and generosity bring warmth and fulfillment to our lives, while selfishness can lead to loneliness and regrets. Advice to kids: 1. Be generous. Share with others when you can, and you'll create kindness and happiness. 2. Think of others. Consider the needs of those around you and offer help when it's needed. 3. Learn from mistakes. When you make a selfish choice, use it as a chance to grow and become a better person. 4. Value friendships. Building meaningful relationships is more important than possessions or achievements. In a peaceful forest, there lived a selfish squirrel named Sammy and a generous rabbit named Rosie. Sammy was known throughout the forest for his selfishness and his unwillingness to share anything he had, whether it was food or shelter. Rosie, on the other hand, was loved by all the animals for her kind and giving nature. One crisp autumn day, as the leaves fell from the trees, Sammy noticed that his supply of acorns was running low. He knew that winter was approaching and that he would need a well-stocked pantry to survive the cold months ahead. Sammy set out to gather as many acorns as he could find. He scurried from tree to tree, collecting acorns and stuffing them into his tree hollow. As he gathered more and more, he couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. He thought, with this many acorns, I'll have enough food to last the entire winter. Meanwhile, Rosie was also busy preparing for winter. She had found a cozy burrow and had been collecting acorns as well. However, Rosie had a different plan in mind. She wanted to make sure that all the animals in the forest would have enough to eat during the winter months. Rosie began to distribute some of her acorns to the other animals in need. She shared with the birds, the chipmunks, and even the squirrel families who hadn't been able to gather enough food. Word of Rosie's generosity spread quickly throughout the forest, and animals came from far and wide to receive her help. Rosie welcomed them all with a warm smile and an open heart, sharing her acorns selflessly. As winter arrived, Sammy retreated to his tree hollow, surrounded by his vast collection of acorns. He felt a sense of pride in having so much food all to himself. He thought, I'm the smartest squirrel in the forest. I'll never go hungry. However, the bitter cold of winter took its toll on the forest. The other animals struggled to find enough food, and their burrows and nests weren't as warm as Sammy's tree hollow. The birds, chipmunks, and even the squirrel families who had received Rosie's acorns were suffering. One particularly frosty night, as Sammy lay in his hollow, he heard a soft knock at his door. It was Rosie, her fur puffed up against the cold, and her eyes filled with concern. "Sammy," Rosie said, "I've been sharing my acorns with those in need, but now I've run out, and many animals are hungry and cold. Can you spare some of your acorns to help them through the winter?" Sammy hesitated for a moment, torn between his selfishness and the realization that he had more than enough to share. Finally, he sighed and said, "Fine. You can have a few acorns, but just a few." Rosie's eyes lit up with gratitude, and she quickly took the acorns Sammy offered. She distributed them to the animals in need, providing them with much-needed sustenance and warmth. As the winter days passed, Sammy couldn't help but feel a growing sense of loneliness and regret. He had plenty of food, but he lacked the warmth of friendship and the satisfaction of knowing he had helped others. One day, as the first signs of spring appeared, Sammy decided to visit Rosie's burrow. He found her happily surrounded by her friends, sharing stories and laughter. Sammy felt a pang of envy for Rosie's warmth and sense of community. He approached Rosie with a humble heart and said, "Rosie, I've learned a valuable lesson this winter. I had so much food, but I was lonely and unfulfilled. I wish I had been more like you, sharing with others and building meaningful relationships." Rosie smiled warmly at Sammy and said, "It's never too late to change, Sammy. Let's gather acorns together this spring and make sure no one goes hungry next winter." Sammy nodded, grateful for Rosie's kindness and wisdom. From that day forward, he became a more generous squirrel, and he and Rosie worked together to ensure the well-being of all the animals in the forest. The moral of the story: the selfish squirrel and the generous rabbit teaches us several important lessons. Generosity and sharing. Sharing what we have with others, especially in times of need, not only benefits them but also brings us a sense of fulfillment and warmth. Example: Rosie's willingness to share her acorns brought comfort and nourishment to many animals in the forest. Selfishness and loneliness. Being selfish and unwilling to help others can lead to loneliness and a lack of meaningful relationships. Example: Sammy's isolation during the winter made him realize the importance of friendship and generosity. Learning from mistakes. It's never too late to recognize our shortcomings. Learn from our mistakes and make positive changes in our behavior. Example: Sammy's willingness to change and become more generous showed his capacity for growth and self-improvement. Advice to kids: be generous. Share what you have with others, whether it's food, toys, or your time. Generosity creates a sense of community and kindness. Example: if you have extra snacks, offer them to a friend or a classmate who may be hungry. Think beyond yourself. Consider the needs of others and be willing to help when you can. Small acts of kindness can make a big difference. Example: if you see someone struggling with their schoolwork, offer to help them understand the lesson. Learn from your mistakes. If you've made a selfish choice in the past, use it as an opportunity to grow and become a better person. Example: if you've excluded someone from a game or activity, apologize and invite them to join next time. Value friendship. Building meaningful relationships and friendships is more important than hoarding possessions or achievements. Example: spend time with your friends, listen to their stories, and be there for them when they need support. In conclusion, the selfish squirrel and the generous rabbit reminds us of the importance of generosity, kindness, and the value of meaningful relationships. It encourages us to share with others and consider their needs, ultimately leading to a more harmonious and fulfilling life. Thanks for watching.